The Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. I was super excited to check out. Why? The Note 4 Edge had caught my eye, but as intriguing as the Note 4 Edge was with its one sloped side, the Note was still physically a big phone. So you can imagine my reaction when I heard that the S6 flagship lineup would come with its own Edge version. But now that it's here, I don't know how to feel about it. Is the S6 Edge worth getting over the S6? Stay tuned to find out. Now, before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to Jill and Leanne for securing this unit for me. Even though it took a little longer than usual, I still appreciate the swiftness in which this unit was received. Thank you very much. Let's dive right in. Obviously, the biggest difference between the S6 and the S6 Edge are the sloped sides. When you first pick up the phone, you will immediately notice that it feels slimmer in hand. But I can tell you right now that that's just an illusion because the Edge is 0.2 millimeters thicker than the S6. The volume and power buttons are on the same place on the Edge, but due to the Edge having sloped sides, this is where my first gripe with the phone comes in. With the phone and its screen side up, the buttons become a bit recessed. This makes it a bit difficult to hit the buttons without picking the phone up. But if you did want to check on notifications without picking up the phone, simply swipe back and forth like this, and the side will light up with information. Things like tweets, weather, missed calls, or messages. It's actually pretty cool. However, you won't find a similar function for volume control. Moving right along to the overall user experience with the S6 Edge, the screen is still a 1440 by 2560 Super AMOLED display. However, the sides of the phone do distort images a little bit, and the Edge does cast this weird shadow on white or bright backgrounds. But this is to be expected. I mean, come on, it's basically a curved display on the sides. So, there you have it. Which leads me to viewing content on the Edge. Watching videos was a bit jarring at first with the top and bottom of the image warped a little. After a day of usage though, you begin to forget it. But one thing I did notice was that the metal Edge started to be a bit hard to hold onto because it kind of starts to dig into your hand when you hold it in landscape like this, or even like this. Speaking of landscape, taking photos in landscape was a lot less trickier than I thought. Compared to what I thought the Note 4 Edge would be like, I figured that there wasn't much to hold on to when snapping pics because of the amount of real estate you have on the sides. But I was able to get a nice grip without dropping the thing. But the camera functions are the same as the S6. There's no difference. It still has the same quick activation by double-clicking on the home button twice. One other thing that might have seemed that there could have been a big difference in performance would be the speakers. Now, when it comes to listening to music on a mobile device, everybody knows I'm pretty picky. So, like our last Samsung review, we went ahead and used our testing methodology for speaker loudness. To our surprise, the S6 Edge playing the same song was 77.9 decibels versus the S6 at 75.9 decibels. But, assuming that the internal layout is the same for both phones, the results are well within the margin of error. If not, then the S6 Edge is a bit louder. Battery performance was better than the S6, where after a full 8-hour day at the office, we came home with 54% left on the phone. And this was after sending emails, making phone calls, and Chromecasting videos during lunch break. I would probably attribute this bump in battery life to Edge notifications. You no longer have to turn on the entire screen to see who called, and I know that had to be one of the big factors. Okay, so time for real talk. In the end, the S6 Edge's functions are definitely gimmicky. It's a nice, neat trick to show your friends. However, some of the functionality I was expecting to be in the Edge wasn't there. Things like I saw in the Note 4 Edge were taken out, and instead you only get Edge lighting as the only interesting feature. I mean, it's cool to see who's calling by looking at the lights, but let's be real. Who's going to put their phone face down? Not me, especially without a case. And then there's the problem of only one Edge being in use one at a time. So it's either the right side or the left side. You can't do both, which is kind of stupid. Plus, the angle you have to have your phone at to see the lighting effects is quite limited. You might as well just leave the phone facing up and looking at the screen when someone calls. The one function I was really hoping for was music playback controls, and I was sorely disappointed there that there wasn't one. I mean, I know it's still early and there's probably still will be updates, and I'm positive that the XDA community is working on more Edge apps that you can have. What do you guys think? Am I being too harsh? So if I were in the market for a new phone and I was torn between the S6 versus the S6 Edge, I would definitely go with the S6. The overall functionality of the Edge was a letdown for me, but if you're the type of person who's an early adopter and likes to be the first to own something cool, the S6 Edge is still pretty cool. It's everything the S6 is and more. And like I mentioned earlier, with a little time and patience, Samsung or the XDA community will definitely be able to give the end user what they want down the road. As it stands right now, it's not for me. You may be thinking, Jack, you're silly. I feel completely different about it. And to you, I say, that's cool, it's your opinion, but the best way for you to decide for yourself is to go to your local cell phone provider and check it out in person. That's all there is to say. And bonus points for those of you who do go to an NCIX, because NCIX is an official Bell carrier that now carries the S6 and S6 Edge, but supplies are very limited. But thank you so much for listening to me rant. Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX. We'll see you later.